of a sangoma. You're going to go through the process of twasa, and you're going to leave your job. We expect that you're going to give us a cow. And then she starts now protesting, like, how can I afford a cow? I'm not even employed. Where am I going to get this cow from? And it gets more aggressive, the spirit, or I suppose this my govela. She gets more aggressive. She stands up, she starts throwing things around inside the practice. And I noticed the corner of my eye that she never liked me very much, you know. But I noticed that this was.
Because you're too clever. You're too clever for her.
In fact, this is why I noticed that without a doubt that these were theatrics. As she's throwing things around, I noticed that she was very choosy about which articles she decides to throw, because there are other glass objects that if you throw them on the floor,
Exactly.
they might break, and it's quite expensive for you to clean those things up and buy new ones.
But
So
you make my evening. You make my evening. You
she's
remind me of the old days.
Feta, the old days. She's throwing down bones. She's throwing down plastic papers. She's kicking over brooms. And then now we have to now straddle her down and subdue her so she could relax. And now this woman starts protesting, like, ancestors, please, please, abakhulu abadala ngiyacela. I have no job, I have no money, please understand. Where am I gonna get this? Can you please help me to get the cow? And then anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, so now,
Yeah. See how the subject her.
yo,
You see how the subject create fear in her. She started to plead.
now they're forcing her into a psychological position of compromise, where now she has to
Yes.
start making personal sacrifices and consider them deeply at this point. You know, they're not even giving her time to go back home and recollect herself and think about, how am I going to get this money? They start saying to her that, okay, fine, we understand that you're not working. The Holy Spirit is her brother is translating for this so-called spirit. The brother says that, okay, the spirit is basically saying that they understand that you're a working woman, you're a career woman, that you want to go back to work, so you can manage both lives just as long as you give most of your priority towards the sangoma work. We do expect a sacrifice from you, and perhaps maybe let's start off with a few chickens, and also you have to leave 3,000 rand here before you go home.
Yes.
Yeah,
Quick.
yeah,
Yes.
to honor us for the
Quick.
work. Yeah, to honor us for the work we do. Otherwise, we're gonna punish you. Mm.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
she was so
Yeah.
terrified. This woman.
See what God can do to you. God will punish you.
Yeah.
Oh God. This planet.
Yes.
Shame.
Shame. So Kuto, I totally agree with you, man. These people will take over your mind. They
Mm.
have a
He's
strong
playing
hold.
with people. He's really
Mm.
playing with people.
They have a strong psychological grip on the mind, and that's where they operate these things.
Mm.
Mm.
It's sad because they really know, all those vulnerable points in a human's life, like your family, your loved ones, your relationships, and your money. Those are aspects of a person that we all want that to work. So they play around that.
I keep on. Kuso. I keep on saying this. I keep on saying this all the time, even to my students. This is the first thing. Remove from your head that you want to know who is doing what against you, which family member did what. Remove from your head you want prophecy, because that thing is not necessary. That thing, it is not necessary. Because what you are going to be told, 95% of it is astral information or astrologic information, meaning something that is not permanent. You're going to be eating with unnecessary things instead of focusing on life. Because today is like this, tomorrow is going to change. But if you hold on to yesterday, tomorrow will never come. You're making the situation worse. This is simple logic. Because human being, it is proven and very simple. Human being is naturally psychic. There are people born with psychic abilities, meaning develop psychic senses. They can look at you and tell you what you ate yesterday. the minute they get your attention, whatever they say, you're going to say is true. And then you are in trouble. That's what you see. That's what most of these churches, these so-called charismatic churches, this is what is going on there. The pastor will call, he will call the phone number. You will come out. Then after that, you are already convinced. Your faith is now heightened to it. Your trust in him is very high. Anything he says, you will just say yes. You will believe it and you will create it in your mind. This is the problem with human. So we are so funny. Human beings like to be told what they know. I don't know how that happened. Just to build our confidence, but that is not right. We want to be told what we know. And then from there, we are told what we don't know. And we are still accept because we were told what we know. We're forgetting that these things you can dream about them. If you focus, if you know how to go about it, you ask, you go to bed. Your higher self will bring the information or will bring the clear picture of what is going on. God cannot be separate from his own. God is with human being. There is no other way God, there is no time on earth God will carry your message and give it to somebody else to tell you. We are all children of God, or do not realize, but naturally, for the mere fact that we are alive, you are a child of God. Our problem is ignorance. We give away our power, so to God. We give away our power to blind people, even people who are even less aware or awakened than us. But because they have some tricks, we think it is real. And then we forget what we have as natural potential. You move your shoe, they say kneel down, you kneel down. They say sit flat, you sit flat. And you start to inhale dust for the sake of miracle or quick fix. But human life, there is no such thing as quick fix. If there was a quick fix, a mother would give birth to a child today, that child grow today and start to work today. But it's not like that. The child takes 9 months. The child grow through a process every year, slowly. But we're done with that. We forget about it. Now when we grow up, we want everything to happen spontaneously. And then somebody will tell you, if it doesn't happen, it's because there is this problem. There is this, you need to do that. You need to slaughter that. You need to do that. It is just a shame because I keep on saying this. Jacob, before he died, he called his children to bless them. He didn't go with the blessings so that he come and bless them when he's spirit. He blessed them before he died. Because only a human being can bless, not a dead. A dead person cannot bless. It's limited because that thing they call the breath of life is being removed. That power is removed. That's why they call it dead. That's why they call it dead. It's in the astral. The soul is in the astral. It can't have power more than you or more than me, because I am still in two worlds. I am in both dimensions at the same time. There is no way the one in one dimension will be stronger than me. It is not true. That is not true. It is not true. But we are confused because of theories and all sorts of explanations. Most of it is proven. If you take a stone, like Ghanaians they do, if you take a stone, you put all your trust on that stone, you speak, that stone will start to perform like a spirit.
Frater, can you extend an invitation to
Can,
Daniata as well.
yeah,
Apologies for
yeah.
interrupting.
Hello, Fatah.
No, so I'm saying apologies for uprooting you. I mean, interrupting you. Can you send an invitation to Daniata as well?
Oh, Daniel. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me try.
Yeah, guys, we thought maybe we should host this space just to delve deeper into what Fat Olympus was discussing on Soweto TV. And I thought maybe because it's such a limited time frame to discuss such a vast subject matter, um, and I think maybe the space should have been scheduled for tomorrow because it's only now where I'm actually broadcasting the space and sharing it with people on social media. People who've been meaning to understand the point of suicide from a spiritual dimension, and what happens after people pass away as a consequence of committing suicide. Yeah, I think it's a heavy subject matter, and if we don't have the audience um, to unpack it appropriately, then this evening I suggest maybe we reschedule this whole Zoom meeting for tomorrow. As regards to time, I suppose we'll sort it out.
I agree. It's quite an important topic. It is very, very important. Uh, it is very important because this thing is very prominent. Recently, it is becoming even worse. You see children committing suicide. It's becoming very serious. Obviously, there is a lot involved lately. So it will be a very important topic to really deal with. Open people's eyes, those who are willing to learn, open their mind, and those who are struggling with such thought or whatever, at least they can easily also come out and get help. You know,
Mm.
it's a good topic. I agree. We can repeat the topic as many times as possible. I don't see anything wrong with those topics. The
Mm.
consequence of suicide and what happened to the one that commits suicide and what is causing this suicide force or whatever suicide reaction. What is the cause of it, and how to get rid of that.
Mm.
Definitely it's important
Most
because this
definitely.
is something that is really dealing with people, the
Mm.
whole world.
I read a book by Max Heindel, The Rosicrucian Cosmoconceptions. Um, it's what actually part of like a treaty of books that he's established. And there's a book under his um, treaty of literature concerning spiritual matters. It's called Questions and Answers, something I want to do for Aniucor as well. And therein, he discusses what happens to the spirit of someone who commits suicide shortly after death. He says that um, suicide isn't something to prospect for, to look for as a means to get away from the trials and tribulations of life, because apparently it's even much more worse than any other kind of condition that precedes
It is.
the prior life.
It is. Mm-hmm.
But it's
It is work.
it's worse because you're not dead in actual fact. In fact, they say that you're so close to
Yeah.
being physical that what constitutes the matter that is your body or your vessel there is constituted with elements um, that are so close to the constituent elements of the earth that you are almost perceptible to people who are sufficiently psychic and sensitive enough to perceive spiritual things. That said, your humanity or your interests are vested entirely in this humanity. You cannot focus on any other reality in the post-mortem existence with your soul because you've severed the mortal coil that links you to a physical body before your given time that God has given you. So you must spend the rest of your days in some liminal world, stuck in between this life and the other, until your dated time comes for you to transition over. So I think when we put into context what where God's standing is concerning suicide, um, that particular dialogue, I think it puts a lot of context, even though God hasn't. Um, I can't remember what scripture in the Bible where God speaks on suicide. But I think that's quite telling of his reasoning concerning such matters.
Yeah, that's true. That's very correct because that's what it is. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate we are not all the same psychically or spiritually. It's unfortunate because, like you said earlier, if people could see when they go to either the funeral or the place where somebody committed suicide, if they could see, they would realize that shame. This is worse. This person thought he was getting a quick fix, but it made the situation worse.
Mm. It makes apparently even the feeling of pain there is accentuated to a very large degree. Um, when you hunger for something, you desire for something because you're almost physical, because you don't have a stomach to digest that food, a stomach to digest substances that you drink. Um, your need for these things is felt throughout the entire vessel of the body you use in the spiritual world. And they say that it's a lingering kind of feeling that doesn't go away, like a toothache. Yet difference is that you feel it all over your body. It's the feeling of despair, desire without contentment, uh, desire
Mm.
without satisfaction. You're just, you know, in a state of wanting, always and perpetually. And I guess that's where the suffering comes from,
Mm.
to a very large degree.
Shame.
It's a sad, it's a sad circumstances that we put ourselves in when you contemplate suicide. And I think
It's ignorant.
that's why it's so heavily
It's
frowned upon.
ignorant.
It's heavily frowned upon, even from a domestic setting where we're not going to consider this from a spiritual point of view. Uh, the selfishness that's involved there, that you can only think in terms of yourself, and you don't think about the people that
Yeah.
how this is going to affect your
Correct.
immediate family, the people that
Yeah.
you know
That is
that add value in your life.
selfish.
Mm. So yeah, so I guess that's why these kind of organizations are important when they place an emphasis on the development of the inner person.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
First, educate the mind, awaken awareness, develop the inner person. This is very important. There's no doubt about this. But people are taking this thing like Joe. Somebody will tell you, I know what I'm doing. I don't need all these things. I know what I'm doing.
Mm.
Shame.
It is
No.
four people in my hi Danyata. Four people within my street committed suicide actually within the same year.
Yo,
You see how rampant the spirit of suicide is.
four.
They're laboring in the kingdom of darkness for this. Four
It's very
people.
sad.
My neighbor, they
That's
found him, a young man. They found him in his garage, and he had hung himself there. And, and,
what a
and
man.
and I think what's more interesting is the life he led prior to contemplating suicide. Or not even contemplate, but being inundated with thoughts of wanting to kill yourself. Because I know this comes from an influence that's outside of you. He was getting deep into like dark content that he was download online, about occult practices, and he started befriending um, people that belong to that world and even dating them. His girlfriend was a Sangoma whose mother never approved of. He would draw all these dark looking uh, imagery graphics over the walls in his yard. Triple
Yo,
six numbers of triple six. So you can just tell that this thing had fully anchored itself into his mind.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
The man was seriously possessed.
He started doing drugs, nyaupe. This is somebody who was coming from a very stable family. You know, Mother could put him into a
Oh,
good school, he had a vehicle, and
imagine.
just imagine.
Imagine.
Mm.
And you see, sometimes I blame parents. You see the thing what make him to become like that. He became unsatisfied with life because he grew up, he was spoiled. He was spoiled growing up.
Mm.
And that is the challenge. Whatever he have was not more enough. He need more than that. He tired of what he have. It's no more making sense. So he would try anything. He was not dreaming a billionaire or millionaire. And you need to make that happen by all means. He will
Mm.
touch anything everywhere. Before you know it, it's in trouble.
Mm. When you don't have Christ as your world conception and the foundation of your great work, you know, um,
It's difficult.
yeah, it's very
The
life
journey
becomes
is
very
very difficult.
difficult.
The journey is very tough.
Yeah, because the devil steps in, and what he does is that he makes people think and consider life from the prospect of lack.
Yes.
Yeah, they can only view life in terms of what they are lacking. And
Mm-hmm.
if you could, I remember I was studying consumer behaviorism, where we get deep into advertising and marketing, and they give us this body, a human, this a figurine of a human body, and they say that if you truly want to understand advertising and how it works, you must understand that human beings innately are born with an insatiable need and desire to feel something. You know, they are always
Mm.
wanting and never satisfied. And I never believed in this
Yeah.
premise, but I never believed in this premise. I just felt like it's the design of the devil to have us feel that we are incomplete and we need to
Yes.
reach
It
beyond
is.
ourselves to find something that completes us.
It is.
And without it, we're
Yeah.
nothing. Just imagine.
It's that these things, the minute that impression gets stronger, then depression is in. When depression get in, there we go. There we
Mm.
go. Others will start to download how to commit suicide, rich exercises, reading about suicide. They will just be going on and on and on. You can see, okay.
Mm. Mm. The, these spirits, I think maybe tomorrow when we just delve deep into the subject matter, we should also consider the mechanism of these spirits that possess these people and encourage them to think in line in line with those kind of well with, to consider those things as a decision that they should make. Um, I was following an organization called the Spiritual Research Foundation in India, and there was a case study within their website of a woman who used to suffer from severe depression. Her depression would last for days, weeks, and months on end. You know, and when they brought her in to study her, they brought in a seer, a woman of clairvoyance, who can to basically give a synopsis as to what's going on with this woman. So what they saw was this spirit. They call the kalanag in their culture. It's a serpent, or a cobra to be more specific, with a black body and red eyes. And it had anchored itself into her heart center. And bear in mind, her heart center is where her emotions issue from, her sense of self worth, and perhaps other things that you might perhaps be able to answer for to someone else on the space that are more eloquent of me, God's then understanding chakras and energy centers in people. So this thing had anchored itself in her heart center and was manipulating her sense of self worth, planting ideas in her head that she's not going to make it in life, that she's going to continue struggling, um, what that process looks like is that this snake is spraying black energy. I don't necessarily have the vocabulary to explain what this looks like, but it looks like a dust or cloud of blackness, you know. being spread on her and fighting the inner light within her. So it took maybe 4 months of trying to restore this woman and extricating this thing from her life, just to show how much of a tenacious grip these things have over our lives once they're fully settled in, and you've done nothing proactive about getting them done, um, getting them out of your life.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true. It's not a joke. That's what they do. They create knot around the so-called psychic chakras. When they create a knot around the chakras, it's a big problem. It's a big problem.
Mm. Hi, Danyata.
No, sometimes I don't even blame human being, because if you look at all these things deeply, we are just victims of ignorance. We are victims of ignorance. What the bleep do we know? And that's where the whole problem comes from, parent to children. And so I continue like that. Some children, because they want to challenge the family's curse or the family ignorance, they will start to search online. Before you know it, they are in contact with something even worse than what the family was involved with. Bigger problem. So it's just a mess. It's a serious mess. It's not easy. It takes God's grace for somebody to be safe. It takes God's grace. Honestly, it takes God's grace. When you look carefully, you can't be too clever. It takes God's grace. Because for some reason, others will be searching, they find the right place. Others will be searching, they enter the wrong place. Because all these things, at first, they seem to be good for your well-being and so on. For your deepest well-being, for contentment. As you go further, you start to see some strange things. Turning back is too late.
Max Heindel describes the activities of spirits that have committed suicide. He describes a man who is still lingering about at the dinner tables, trying to desperately ingest the vibrations on the food. Yeah, trying to, I forgot the term. You know, when you're cooking and you open the lid and the steam rises.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so he tries as best as he can to get his sustenance from that. And another even danger once I've heard from necromancers, as people who necromancer is the working knowledge of working with spirits of the dead. Uh, these people can imprison these souls, you know, perpetually and indefinitely for I don't know how long, but and use them for their own selfish purposes. So there's a great deal of danger in suicide that shouldn't be taken lightly. I think.
A great deal.
Yeah.
It's a very big problem. That is a big issue.
The whole family.
That is a very big problem.
The whole family needs to be involved, man. When somebody starts expressing notions of killing themselves, I think it's people should. I found one time I found one of my friends at school. His mother and father had passed away, and he was in a very dark space. And so I saw him going to the toilet, and something told me, you know, go check on your friend. I got into the toilet. I opened the door. Immediately when I opened the door, I found him trying to. I think he had second thoughts, and I just caught him in the middle of trying to save himself. He had tied his tie to the window butlers there, and he had jumped off the toilet seat. And now I found him choking, suffocating, struggling to get back onto the toilet seat, and saliva coming out of his lips. Well, immediately after that, I called my mother to talk to his mother, and it was
Yeah.
very deep.
He was lucky.
Very lucky.
So is he still alive now?
He's still alive, but Lena, he's not a very good person, you know. I don't like using terms like that because they sound a bit critical and judgmental, but he's not morally erect, you know.
That is the problem. I mean, that is it. That is it. He need deliverance. He can't just change. He can't just change. He need help.
Oh, Fata,
He was rescued, but he need help.
that brother
That's the
is
truth.
bad. He is bad. He steals any and everything that he could find. He's managed to ruin every single relationship that he's ever come across with somebody. I mean, this man stole so much that you know he's developed a reputation from here to Johannesburg as a thief. You know, I mean, very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm.
So, what were you saying on the interview, Feta? What were because I never got the time to actually catch it.
Yeah. You didn't follow the whole thing. Actually, it was the root cause. What is causing this suicidal thought? What is making people to want to commit suicide? That's what. So we were two there. There was a guy there, Lungisa. Lungiso is he tried. Apparently, he tried to commit suicide 3 times, but all 3 times he was safe. And then he's been raped. He was raped by men. That guy's gone through a lot. He's gone through a lot. So finally, the last suicide, the last one he did, he was in serious coma. He says he saw the Holy Spirit call him and say, "Go back." And that's how he came back to conscience. From that day, he took the Bible. That was the end of. That was the last time he did that. Because he was visited, he felt the presence of God mightily. God rescued him. So from then he said, no. So definitely there is something bigger than what I thought. When he got himself a Bible. So he is a living testimony. So he was seeking for clarity. What is it? Because what is cause? Why was he wanting to terminate to end his life? So he met with Mpo Mokosi. She's the one running this program. So he met with her. She said, "No, I know also somebody. I can invite the guy. He will give us. He will explain. He will tell you what is going on and why." So yeah, so that's how we met for that episode, and I met with the guy. He shared the story again, and then and obviously I was able to see what is happening and so on. So I explained everything to him, obviously also to the listener. And I also gave some guidelines, like how to, if this, because it is not suicide, it start with stress or depression. It start with you feel like I am worth nothing, I am useless. You feel down, you look down on yourself, you are not satisfied with anything, you're just feeling like there is a void. Now, all these feelings, all these things are not the problem. The problem is there is a force that is whispering in the mind, in the head. And that is where the main problem is. So it's good to get rid of that force. And before you even try to get rid of that force, you should be able to see it. So I was explaining how to get in contact, how to feel your aura, or how to see what is in the aura. Because usually these things, they are hanging there in the aura. You can see it if you spend like some few minutes either focusing on a mirror and you give yourself some positive affirmations or auto suggestions while looking steadily on the mirror on yourself steadily. Eventually you will see what is disturbed, what is around you. You'll be sure to see what is around your being. If not, learn to listen to the heartbeat. Practice listening to the heartbeat or slow down the breathing. This thing, they take some little effort, but eventually you see what is going on. Because it's important when you see what is going on, then you can actually address it. But I would always advise, like I was saying on that episode, I would always advise people, if you feel you want to address the matter, the only way and the only force that can help to eradicate, to remove this force, is the word Jesus. In full sincerity. There is no other spirit that can help remove that thing. All of them are the same. If you call anything else besides Jesus, you are just putting yourself in deeper problem. It will cool down for now. When it comes, it will come with full force to show that you didn't deal with the problem from the root. Only the name Jesus have the power to remove these things, this nonsense, for those who can believe in it. But if you don't, it's your luck. But it's a proposition. That is a proposition from experience. Because like myself, I've tried many things. So I can easily say with confidence, the only thing that works is Jesus. If I can say that, it means it is true, because I know names of, you can call whether spirit or whatever, demon, whatever you call them. I know a lot. I've known a lot, but the one that is greater is Jesus. This is not a matter of belief. It is what it is. Ignorantly, we separate ourselves from ourselves, or we distance ourselves from ourselves, from our higher nature. But that doesn't mean because you don't say Jesus, you are no more a child of God. We're still breathing the same life. God will always accept us whenever we come back. It doesn't matter how long it takes. But it is very important to always come back. We don't go, I keep on saying this, don't go to God because you want a job. Don't go to God because you want a wife or a husband. Or you want this, you want anything outside. The truth is those things will come as you are alive. What is important is to have a relationship with Jesus. That is very crucial. What is yours? What you are meant to be? You will be. Nothing can stop that. Nothing. What the Holy Spirit will do is to secure, to make sure you are protected. Because all along, because you are not under the care of the Holy Spirit, you rejected the Holy Spirit, or ignorantly, you are not paying attention to the Holy Spirit. Thus, your life become back and forth. Elementals use you at night when you are sleeping. They use you to go to nightclub. They use you to go and steal. They use you to go and do this, all the wrong things. They use you to go and do homosexuality and so on. You wake up in the morning, finish tired like somebody who was running a race. And when you are in those conditions, there is no way you get any sort of contentment in the physical aspect of life. Those are the things, those are the beginning of the so-called suicide and so on. Those are the things, because you always find your life something is lacking, something. It's not about money, anything, but there is something you can't even have, you can't even tell what is it, because that thing is inside your aura, is busy. It's busy playing around your mind. You can think from now to tomorrow. You lock yourself in the room. You're busy thinking. It's that thing that is busy, but they don't know. People don't know. The minute you find yourself trying to isolate all the time, just know you are doing something is wrong, because that shouldn't be the case. There is no reason for you to withdraw from people for longer period. There is something wrong. You can withdraw from the world for a short time, but not a regular thing. You are having a conversation with wolf. It's a mental conversation. That is a problem. The devil is in the workshop. He's busy. So those are the things that I was explaining for people to realize that, like this guy, this Lungisa, he said it clearly. They took him for psychologists, for what therapy, what, all those things they don't have. Obviously, they are trying their best from a scientific angle, because sometimes they even know spiritual, but if they don't know how to help you spiritual, they'd rather keep quiet and deal with you scientifically. So that is the human nature. But this thing definitely, all this so-called drug addict and whatever, they go for rehabilitation. It's a waste of time. That rehabilitation is suppressing this force. It's not removed. The truth of the matter, if they start to make a family, like getting children and so on, one of the children will go in the same lifetime, to show that the thing was not dealt with from the root. The spirit was not removed. They make the spirit to become clever. So those are the things that people are going through in this world.
That's so deep, Fata. Mandulo, can I ask you a question with regard to what Fata just said?
Yes, Kala, go ahead.
Remember when Fata gave you those practices of being aware of your heartbeats and recollecting on the activities you've had throughout the day backwards before you sleep, and thereafter praying for Psalms either at 91 or 23. I can bet that you perhaps maybe didn't realize that the corresponding effects of repetitively doing those practices with discipline um, allows you to perceive in spirit. Because, like me, when I was given these practices, I never thought that they have the capacity to do that much for me. Because they're so simple. You think
it sounds so easy.
it sounds so
It sounds simple.
You even neglect to do them. You altogether sometimes even abandon them. But when they're now telling you that if you do this every single day, you'll be able to perceive into the astral and see what's bothering you, and moreover that assist other people as well. Like, I didn't even know that these practices are opening my sensory faculties of touching, seeing, smelling, and spirit in that particular manner.
Yeah, you see, Frata, we are used to complicated processes and rituals. So when we get the normal thing, it sounds like, what is wrong with these people? How will this help me? I need something serious.
Yes, you something complicated. It has to be difficult in order for you to bring a change.
Yes, that is our usual way, Chef. We are so used to complicated rituals where they will tell you stand on one leg for 30 minutes. do this. Sleep on the floor, don't sleep on the bed. that we can do with